I do not need to introduce myself at all, so I'm just going to get on with another update. This is just Blu Rays, no DVDs or anything. And I've got a few stories to tell with this update. Now, first two Blu Rays I'm going to talk about are ones which I got in the Arrow video sale. Now, in my previous video, I mentioned that Arrow Video was having another sale, and I had bookmarked from HMV's website a whole list of the titles I wanted to get. But by the time I got into HMV to get them, they had piss all. So I was only able to pick up two, but you know, I'm not ashamed with the two I picked up. So I'll just talk about them. First one is John Carpenter's The Thing. Just to let you know, I haven't seen half these films yet. I've heard really good things about this film. It's a remake of the film The Thing from Another World, and it's by John Carpenter and has Kurt Russell in it, and but it's meant to be brilliant, you know, gory as hell. Anyway, there's the disc. There was the cover it came with, hence why there's an age rating. It hasn't got one on the side, oddly enough. And inside we just get this card for the other Arrow releases, and more specifically, We Are the Flesh. There was an older release of this by Universal from I think 2008, I think. But from what I understand, that film had that transfer was pretty soft because they had to put noise reduction on it for whatever reason, and so it looks soft as hell. But from what I've seen of the Arrow version, it looks pretty good. Next and final Arrow release I've got is Donnie Darko, which is you know, a cult movie. You know, I've heard mixed things about this film. Some people like it, some people but it is considered a cult classic, so I figured I might as well pick it up because A, it was cheap and I might as well try it out. Now, Arrow did put out a box set of this which featured the theatrical cut and the director's cut. This, which you can't see because the lighting is terrible, is only the theatrical cut, so yeah. And inside there, that is the artwork it came with originally, right there. And like with The Thing, it doesn't have the rating on the side, but it does have it on the front. Next three are films which Tarantino had some involvement in. The third film we even directed a film for it, but in that final film I've got a story to tell. So before I get to that, let's carry on. So the next one is Natural Born Killers, which is filmed by Oliver Stone, but Quentin Tarantino wrote the screenplay for it, and he later disowned it because he didn't like the film. He even though he claims he's never seen it, so how the hell can't he like it? You know, it's anyone's quest. I've heard, like with Donnie Darko, I've heard mixed things about this film. Some people like it, some people aren't too keen. I'll watch it. I'll give it a go. Yeah, it was incredibly controversial for its day because of the amount of violence in it and the fact that obviously it was blamed for a ton of copycat killings. And in fact, in Britain, it came out in '94, but they didn't put it out on VHS until 2001. But this is the director's cut, which I think on DVD this was put out by a different company, which I believe the director's cut, there's really no difference except this one has a lot more violence in it. They did also put out the theatrical cut on Blu Ray as well. Mine went for the director's cut. So there's the disc, it's blue. Next one is an absolutely brilliant film. This one is From Dusk Till Dawn. Come on in, pussy lovers. We got black pussy, white pussy, chicken pussy, wet pussy, smelly pussy, apple pie pussy. If you can get a pussy for less than a pound, fuck it. I've probably really badly misquoted that. Yeah, I like that scene. With George Clooney, Quentin Tarantino, Harvey Keitel and Juliette Lewis. I've seen this film before, it's a brilliant film. I know a lot of people will be put off by it because it feels like two different movies rolled into one. first half is the story of the two brothers, Seth and Richie Gecko, played by George Clooney and Quentin Tarantino, trying to get across, who are basically like movies, they rob, they murder, they rape and things, and so and then they take a family hostage in their motorhome and basically force them to take them across the Mexican border, and they go to a rendezvous point, which is a strip club known as the Titty Twister, and shit goes down in there because it turns out the place is ruled by vampires. All the staff and all the dancers are vampires. Yeah, very enjoyable film. There's the disc. I've not seen this type of disc on a Lionsgate Miramax release because it's basically almost like clear. And if I try and hold it up to the light, you can actually see sort of see through it. I'm sorry about the coughing. It's just because I've got a really bad cough at the minute. Yeah, that's From Dusk Till Dawn. Next Blu-ray is Grindhouse, which in 2007 it was Robert Rodriguez and Quentin Tarantino got together to pay tribute to the old Grindhouse, the old driving exploitation films and the double features. So they did a double feature. This one has in it Robert Rodriguez's Planet Terror and Quentin Tarantino's Death Proof. Side back. There's the discs. This one, which is Planet Terror and Death Proof, and this 2, which is the extras. This doesn't feature the extended versions of both films, which is a shame, but not well. Anyway, there's the booklet with the extras in it. This was a massive pain in the arse to get hold of, because HMV had it for a long time. It was about £12 there. And I kind of wish I'd bought it earlier because I had it bookmarked on their website. Then I was browsing through Amazon, as you do, and I saw it going for 20 quid, and I thought, that's unusual. Why is it going for 20 quid? And then I quickly looked at the bookmark, and then it just said this page is not available. And I thought, oh shit, it's dropped out of print, hasn't it? And yes, it has. It's the only Quentin Tarantino film and Robert Rodriguez film to be dropped out of print. The rest of them you can get fairly easier. So as a result, I ordered a copy. I ordered a new copy. It was still in the shrink wrap, and about 2 weeks later, I was wondering, where the hell is it? And then I got the news that the bloody bastards at Royal Mail lost the damn thing in the post. Fun. And so I waited a week for them to find it, which they didn't find it. And so I ended up ordering a new copy. But unfortunately, all the sealed copies had sold out on Amazon, so I had to deal with a used copy, which actually arrived on time. It arrived within about a week, and this is that used copy, and it's in brilliant condition. The case doesn't smell. It didn't come from the smoker's household. The discs aren't scratched. They play well and everything. Yeah, due to the timing, I might do a review of the Grindhouse double feature. But I'll just say I think Planet Terror is a better movie than Death Proof, because Death Proof is pretty slow. And in my opinion, I can kind of see why Quentin Tarantino said Death Proof is his worst film. I mean, it's not bad by any stretch of the imagination, but it's alright, but just not up to his usual standards. And then the final 2 films. Now this one is one film and a box set, and these had some involvement with Stanley Kubrick, who I haven't talked about much, but Stanley Kubrick is a brilliant director. So let's get started. So let's continue. First one is AI, Artificial Intelligence, which was a film by Steven Spielberg. But what happened was Kubrick read the short story Super Toys Last All Summer Long, and he wanted to make a film of it, but he wanted Steven Spielberg to direct it, and he'd produce it, and then it sort of flipped hands, particularly during the 90s, going, well, Kubrick was going to direct it and Spielberg was going to produce it, and then he said it was going to be his next film after Eyes Wide Shut, but rather unfortunately, Stanley Kubrick died a few weeks after Eyes Wide Shut was released, and so, as a result, Steven Spielberg, being the friend that he is, decided to finish AI. And I watched this last night, and it's a very, very interesting movie. It's not a great movie, and in my opinion, kind of the ending is a bit naff. I mean, I like kind of the themes of the ending, but it's just a bit naff, a bit long. But it's enjoyable. It's enjoyable. It's interesting. There's the inside with the important notice thing, which I've got on Falling Down and True Romance. There's the disc itself with Teddy on it, the super toy. Sorry about that, I just had to get a drink. Anyway, then the final thing I've got is a box set, and this is one I'm really chuffed to get. That is the Stanley Kubrick Visionary Filmmaker Collection. So, this was, I believe, the first time all Kubrick's movies were sold together on Blu Ray. Now, there was another set that was released a few years ago called the Masterpiece Collection, which had Dr. Strangelove as well as a few bonus discs and a few art cards, booklet and things. But that set's now out of print and goes for silly money. This one only cost me about 25 quid. Now, when this was first released, they put it in a thicker box and then they put a booklet with it it had a booklet with it, but this version is a slightly budgeted version because it doesn't feature the booklet and it comes in a slightly thinner box. So, this set we get Lolita, 2001: A Space Odyssey, Clockwork Orange, Barry Lyndon, Shining, Full Metal Jacket, and Eyes Wide Shut. Now, just so you know, the version of The Shining in this set is the European version, but I've got the extended version right here. Yeah, so the ratings are slightly better censored than on the original release. Yeah, I believe with Lolita and Barry Lyndon, this is the first time they were released on Blu Ray, and as a result, they're very bare bones Blu Rays, the Lolita and Barry Lyndon ones, because they've only got the trailer on them. The rest of them have got a nice arsenal of extras. So we move on to the films themselves in a thick case. These were all the extras for each of the films. And they also put out a Clockwork Orange special edition as well, which is HM exclusive version, which is basically the version that's in this set, which has a few more extras. So if you see that version, don't buy it. Just go for this set, because literally the only things different are the fact that it has a DVD with it and has a few art cards with it. I mean, it's got more extras than the original Blu-ray release from 2008, I think. And so yeah. And also this features 2 documentary films, Stanley Kubrick: A Life in Pictures and Overlooking Malcolm. The Stanley Kubrick: A Life in Pictures I have seen, very interesting documentary. It's like 2.5 hours, 2 hours, and it's narrated by Tom Cruise. So it's very interesting if you like Kubrick. And Overlooking Malcolm, which I've not seen yet, but I really want to. It's basically a career profile on Malcolm McDowell, who played the lead character in A Clockwork Orange. So, and from what I understand, on the original version, the hubs were incredibly tight, and so you couldn't get the discs out. This one, they've used a different type of case. They use these type of hubs, so they're incredibly easy to get the discs off, and they're not too easy, but they have a bad habit of swivelling around, so I'm not going to bother swivelling them back into position. So anyway, we've got release, I haven't seen that yet, 2001: A Space Odyssey, brilliant film, just for, you know, on its own, and very interesting idea. Clockwork Orange, probably one of my all-time favourite films, if not definitely in top 10, definitely a great film. Barry Lyndon, haven't seen it, but I'm kind of put off by it because it's like 3.5 hours, and I'm not a big fan of like historical epics, but I'll watch it. Shining, it's the European version. Full Metal Jacket, which is a very interesting movie. The first half is way better than the second half in Full Metal Jacket, because the first half is set in the boot camp, and you know, the late Arlie Ermy is hilarious in it, and it's generally can get quite disturbing, you know, with Private Piles, psyche dropping, and he goes insane. And the second half, when they're actually in the war, is just okay. Then we get Eyes Wide Shut, which is the last one he made, which I haven't seen yet, but it does look very interesting. And then we get the bonus disc, which is Stanley Kubrick's Life in Pictures and Old Malcolm. So that was my update. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.